Welcome back to On Track GP, where the question of the day here is it already too late for Ferrari to be in the battle? Now, I'm going to start with the good things, because the good things is a pretty short list. We know that Charles got a very, very clean start. He was the quickest on the pedal at lights out, and away we go on the weekend. But that's all we can say that's really good about Charles. He had a good bit of pace, but then it all went wrong, and we'll get to that in a minute. The other good thing about Ferrari is they had a very clean double stack for their first pit stop, which is good to see. Better than last season. And, well, that's it. That's the only good things I can take from Ferrari this weekend, which is worrying. All right, let's move on to the bad things with Ferrari. So, on Sunday morning, before the Bahrain Grand Prix had even begun, Ferrari changed Charles Leclerc's energy store. Now, what does that mean? Fortunately, they didn't get a penalty, because throughout the season, you get 2 energy stores. But that's it. After that, you get grid penalties. So Charles Leclerc goes on, does his race, does a certain amount of laps, and then the car chundles away and he pulls it over. And guess what the problem was? It was the energy store again! What? Yes. So now, assuming that that energy store is still broken, they're going to have to replace that one with a third one. And at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, he is probably going to have to take a 10-place grid penalty. 10 places, and it's the second race of the season. The best place he can start is 10th. What? This is disastrous for Ferrari. Now, if you move across and have a look at Carlos Sainz, it doesn't get much better there. Fundamentally, he's in the same car, right? So we can assume that he's going to have the same problems with the energy store. But he's also not as quick as Charles. He got absolutely hounded by Fernando Alonso, who just made him look silly cutting across him there. And then Hamilton, if Hamilton's in a slightly quicker car, Hamilton would have done him as well. So Carlos Sainz does not have the pace. Charles Leclerc is already looking at grid penalties for the rest of the season. Ferrari are in a seriously, seriously bad position. All right, but now let's talk about the ugly. But this might actually be good for Ferrari. Have you heard of the first round curse? Now, what that means is, since 2017, the winner of the first round, be that at Australia or in this time Bahrain, has not gone on to win the championship. They have finished second for the last 6 years. Last year in Bahrain, Charles Leclerc won the Bahrain Grand Prix and finished second in the championship. Year before that, 2021, Lewis wins, finishes second in the championship. 2020, Bottas wins the first round, finishes second in the championship. The list goes on and on. Vettel, Bottas, it's non-stop. So is that going to happen again? Are we going to see Max Verstappen win the Grand Prix, which he's already done, and then finish second in the championship? You can see there's a little smile forming on my face, because it's the only ray of hope that I have for Ferrari this year. Because the stats do not look good. So I've just got to rely on the curses. Now, we haven't spoken much yet about Fred Vasseur. He is the new team principal for Ferrari, and he's brought in a new strategist and obviously his team as well. Am I convinced on Fred Vasseur? Well, I suppose that's yet to be told, but it doesn't look good on paper. Straight away in the first race, having to make an energy store change, having a car DNF, and having Carlos Sainz with very low pace. Now, that doesn't say a huge amount about their strategy, which was a massive problem for Ferrari last year. That was really what killed their season, was the clowns that were sitting there on the pit wall. Now, are we going to see those clowns again? I really hope not, but it's yet to be told. I suppose one positive thing for Ferrari here is that we've not really been talking about the worry with Charles's pace. But everybody is talking about the worry of Carlos Sainz's pace. Now, I love the guy. I absolutely love the guy. He's a smooth operator, yeah? Beautiful man to look at. But his beautiful driving is not so strong here in the Ferrari this season. He looked really, really slow. It looked like he almost bottled it. He wasn't there. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't pushing straight away from that first corner. He could have been on the back of Perez. Charles gets around Perez, and Carlos, I think he could have been a bit more aggressive and got there. And then all of a sudden, Ferrari's sitting 2-3 and it's a completely different race. To me, it didn't look like he had the desire to go and get past Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc goes, gets him on the first corner, and he's ahead. He's there. He's split the Red Bulls, which is great. But then Carlos Sainz, he has that chance, and then slowly he's just dropping out the DRS, and it looks, he hasn't got the fight, he hasn't got frankly, he hasn't got the pace that Charles Leclerc has got, and that is a massive, massive worry for Ferrari. look, maybe I'm being a little bit over dramatic and it is only the first race of the season. Look, they are 31 points already behind Red Bull, but we're going to see hundreds of points throughout the season. It's the longest season we've ever had with 23 races, so there's going to be chances for Ferrari to get back up and at them. But to be honest with you, if I said to Fred Vasseur, you're going to be 31 points behind Red Bull on the first race of the season, he would have been fuming. So I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned from a Ferrari fan's point of view and also from a sports point of view, because I don't want Red Bull to just run away with it again this season. It's not exciting for the sport. We want to see people fighting. Hey, I'm happy to get pipped in the last race in Abu Dhabi. If Max Verstappen goes and does Charles Leclerc, you know, I'll be gutted, but I'll have enjoyed the season. What I don't want is Max and Sergio just driving away, cleaning up, absolutely destroying the constructors, getting 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. You don't want that for the sport. So we want the likes of Mercedes, Ferrari, and also, let's not forget about Aston Martin here, pushing and going for it, because that is what's going to make a much more entertaining season. What can Ferrari do to actually stay with the pack this season at the top? Well, they need to clearly fix this energy store problem, because that is a total mess for them. If they're taking grid penalties left, right, and centre, that's season over, forget it. They also need to make sure that Carlos can stay competitive alongside Charles. They need two drivers that are going to be there. And then they just need to ask the question. Every single race, they need to be there at the front, pushing on and asking the question of Max and Sergio. Because, of course, Red Bull are not going to have a completely clean season. They will have some DNFs. They will have some races where the drivers are slow. And Ferrari need to capitalise on that if they want any hope of getting a constructors or a drivers this season. So, make sure that Carlos is quick, fix that energy store problem, and don't be clowns on the pit wall. Well, look, I think I've said my piece on Ferrari for now. I'm sure I'll have another moan soon. So stay up to date with everything about the F1 here with us at On Track GP. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one. Please, Ferrari, pull it together. Come on.